And we're back. Hi, everybody. This is Rochelle, and I'm going to be running the adventure all by myself today because Dawn is still sick, and so it's just me stumbling about in the dark by myself.
That sounds fun.
Does it?
There are completely solo games. I've kind of, there are some out there that where they're GM-less, just for people who have no friends and want to sit at home alone and role play.
I don't think that's really a fair assessment.
I know. It's not.
They have friends. They just don't have friends that want to do that particular activity with them. Like that's...
Okay, maybe that was mean.
Yeah.
It does remind me. Did you have those choose your own adventure books like as a kid?
The ones that were specifically like D&D and you had to roll a dice for them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, I played those. I keep seeing those online and I'm like, God, I kind of want to just own some of them again to touch them and look at them, but then that seems foolish.
Why is that foolish?
I don't know. Because there were so many. I didn't have a ton. I had a handful. I had like 3 or 4 of the Lord of the Rings ones.
Oh, I didn't have any of those.
And I really loved those and had a great little character system. And it had a little character sheet in the back and you get to record your stuff and level up and things. But then I had the other ones. And I remember my favorite D&D branded one was because it had the picture of the Dracolich on the front. It was like the Pillars of Pentagarn. Oh, such a great picture. Great book. Yeah, but apparently there's like dozens and dozens of them. I did not have that many.
Yes, but no, I remember those fondly, and I don't know, maybe what you just said like totally triggered me because I think I was that.
You were that kid?
I was that kid.
No,
I didn't have anybody
too.
to play with.
I was that too. I spent a lot of time alone, like I do now. Okay, so
whoa. I cannot.
So we are in fact back. It's been a rough few weeks at the Adventures Ed studio. I am still trying to shake off what I've got. So are you, and we're going to press on because that's what we do.
I think this is what is sometimes colloquially called the man cold.
The man cold?
Yeah, like it's a cold, but it's so much worse because a man has it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no. When I'm sick, I just like,
the world is ending.
The world is ending.
My nose is running.
You know how miserable I am.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yep. Okay. So speaking of miserable, how is Jeannie Applebottom?
Jeannie is frustrated because her prisoner, literally went out with the bathwater.
That's right. Because when we left off, you had returned from the Kipper and the horrible things that happened in that basement, only to come back to the inn and find a distraught Squee telling you that, Nbod, Zune Quag just vanished into the water, leaving behind some salt water and seaweed.
Yeah. So now Jeannie doesn't know if he's dead, like drowned in salt water somewhere.
Because he was all tied up. Mm-hmm. Swimming would have been difficult.
Or if if he's alive and free, like no clue. And that's very, very frustrating.
What's a hero to do? So Squee does look at you and says, "What do we do?"
Jeannie just rubs her head and says, "Well, I guess for starters, you don't sleep in the tub anymore."
Oh, good idea.
And yeah, I honestly I don't know right now. I think I need a nap.
But it has been a long night. You've had some broken sleep. At this point, I don't remember now. It must be around 5 a.m. The timing kind of is getting a little murky. I should start writing that down. Um, I recall you had talked about going back to the bookshop.
Yeah, I mean, I will, but I'm gonna take a nap. And then after I take a nap, well, I want to see if anything like occurs to me in a dream, if I have any epiphanies. So let's start there.
Okay. All right. You go back to sleep and try to get some rest. And Squee will make a little nest of his own. Maybe still in the bathroom, but just not in the tub. So you drift off to hear his raspy snoring in the other room. And you do have some dreams. You find yourself returning to the sea again. Back on the ship, tossed in the storm, lightning flashing, dark waves crashing around. A grizzled, gray-bearded man at the helm of this ship shouting commands. Crew desperately looking around. You see, as the lightning flashes in the light, you can see up ahead, dangerously close, reefs. People are shouting and there's a crash, and then the waves take you as you feel the water rushing around you and people getting thrown overboard and black tentacles in the night. And then you awake with a start. Sometime hours later. The room is chilly.
Well, that was not helpful. That's not the kind of dream I wanted.
No?
I mean, unless there was some kind of words that were prominent in the dream that would give me a clue as to what might make anything work here.
Well, I mean, you keep getting drawn back to these ships.
So I got to go back to the ship?
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay, well, all right. I'm going to go check out the painting on the wall.
I don't think you've actually even looked at this painting the entire time.
No, I really haven't.
Okay.
So I go look at the painting on the wall.
All right. It is actually there's a little box text here, I think, for the painting on the wall. The paintings of a man with a thick black beard and piercing green eyes. He stands at the bow of a ship in the midst of a storm, brandishing a strange, wavy-bladed dagger. Lurking in the foam of the storm-tossed sea, a gigantic creature rises up, its tentacles curled to strike.
Okay. Is there a name on the ship?
There is. Very, very tiny, but since you're looking for it, you can find it. You have to really kind of squint to read it. Because it doesn't stand out unless you're really getting up close. And it says Maybell.
Okay. Great. Okay. Are there any other features or anything that stands out if I search the picture carefully?
Actually, I was going to see if I could just make you roll something to identify any elements of the painting. Let's say give me either an appraising or if you have...
I have appraise, so I mean, that would probably be...
Yeah, I'll just go for that.
Ooh, that is a 25.
Okay, what your takeaway is that this painting, it's well crafted, but the artist probably isn't... it's a good painting. It's not a great painting. It also seems like it was probably painted fast. Like it wasn't something that somebody spent tons and tons of time on. You don't think it has a lot of intrinsic value. It's also probably really new. Like this is not an old painting, which tracks.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, because you know that he got the Maybell within the last 2 years. What's interesting though is that the fact that there's the dagger is in the painting.
Okay, yeah. Okay, none of that is surprising. Can I take the painting off the wall?
Sure.
Okay, I take the painting off the wall and I look at the back. Is there anything on the back?
No, there is nothing on the back.
Is there an artist's signature on the front?
Marjorie Holdaway.
Marjorie Holdaway.
Mm-hmm.
And I somehow think that's not significant at all.
You can make a general knowledge to see if you've heard of that name.
Yeah, it was the way you said it that made me think it's not important. Not
Like I just pulled it out of the ether?
Yes.
What?
That's 17.
No, you don't know her name. Probably just some local artist.
Okay.
Maybe a friend of the captain.
So is there like, when you get something framed nicely and it's got like paper on the back, is there paper on the back or is it just directly to the canvas?
I'm going to say there's no paper on the back. And I don't want to commit to that. Like, when did that start as a thing? I don't know if that's like, how long have people been doing that? Well,
actually, let me tell you about, I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, no, there's no paper in the back. I think that tracks with my idea that this is not a, like a super professional artist. It's probably just a good amateur artist that.
I'm going to take it out of the frame.
Okay. You disassemble it and.
Is there anything like, I'm like just examining it for anything else that might be helpful?
I want to be helpful to you, but it's a painting.
All right. I put it back. I reassemble it and hang it back on the wall.
Okay. The painting is reassembled and back on the wall. You've managed to kill another 45 minutes and your stomach rumbles a little bit for breakfast.
All right. I say, Squee, put on your cloak. We're going to go get some breakfast.
Sounds great, boss.
All right. We head downstairs to the...
Okay. Down to the bar / tavern restaurant.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right, great. You go down there. There's a very light morning crowd. People gathered in little tables, quietly eating, and just a bit of hubbub. And you see the various staff and get some breakfast.
Okay.
And you probably spot Mola, shuffling through, grabbing some stuff, and then back out.
You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk to what's his face?
Torm, the Torm Hillard, the proprietor, or
yeah.
Okay, he's definitely around. I mean, trying to stay busy, but sure, you can go up to him.
Yeah, I'm going to say, excuse me, I think I should give you a little bit of an update.
Yes, my ghost hunter.
Yeah.
I don't remember how he talked.
Well, I found your ghost.
He will look perplexed. What do you mean?
Well, it was just a man pretending to be a ghost.
I don't think I quite understand. How? What? Who?
Former first mate of Captain Nbod named Zun Quag. He was searching for something that belonged to the captain that he thought was secreted in the room.
I feel like I may have heard that name, but I can admit I wasn't fully acquainted with all of the captain's associates. But if he was his first mate, I mean, he must have come through at some point. But, I mean, that doesn't explain all of the other things. I mean, there's certainly very ghostly things that have happened.
Like what?
Well, I mean, we had an incident right here in the tavern hall with some sort of spectral apparition rushing through, and cups went to flying.
Oh, well, I'm not sure about that one, but I'll tell you right now, there was a very human intruder in the captain's room.
Well, what happened?
Well, we had a bit of an altercation, and ultimately he got away. He was injured. I don't know where he might have gone to ground.
Okay, well, we can certainly report this to the authorities if you've got a name and a description. I mean, I'm very sorry that happened to you. Are you okay?
Right as rain.
Well, all right. Well, if he'll ask you if you want to provide some information about the Zune guy, and
You know what? Give me a little more time. I'd like to keep investigating for a bit first.
of course.
I feel like there's more to this story.
Well, anything you need from us to solve this, that would be very helpful.
And I'll see if I can find anything else about the other ghostly happenings, but at least a big part of what was going on in the Captain Nbod's quarters was apparently this guy.
That's almost more disturbing than the ghost.
I just shrug because I don't know what to say about that. And I don't know what to say also about the bathtub and the cabinet and all that seems a little bit like weird. Like, should I tell him just like to remove those things?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'll just leave it alone for right now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, you enjoy a quiet breakfast with Squee. He puts away as much food as you can get for him. He's got a voracious little appetite.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he went hungry for quite a while. I do feel bad for the little guy.
Yeah. Probably do your best to keep him out of sight, but I'm sure he gets a few odd glances in his direction.
Whatever.
All right.
Keep it in the cloak. Maybe I'll get him some gloves.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, Squee, I'm running out of leads. You got any ideas?
I'm just a goblin.
I'm just a dwarf. You're not just a goblin. You're first mate, Squee.
Aye, aye, Captain.
All right, then.
Well, what do we know?
Not a hell of a lot. We've got a dagger. We've got a missing captain. We've got some weird magic doodads.
Well, what did you learn from Zune?
I don't even know anymore. Zune wants the dagger to return it to the Temple of Asp, who is the true goddess of the sea, mighty sea serpent that delivers vengeance on the deserving. Zune does not want to return to the Moon Isle.
Sounds like all these things lead to the Moon Isle.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know how to get to the Moon Isle because I don't know how to make the little chest work.
Well, what have you tried?
I've tried standing in the chest. I've tried closing the chest with me in it. I've tried pulling the ropes out of the chest.
Well, I don't know a lot about magic. Aren't there magic words?
Yeah. All right. Let's go look at the chest.
Okay. With your bellies full, you shuffle back up, secure the door, and stand there in the room looking at this chest.
Mm-hmm. Are there any symbols on the chest?
I don't remember if I described there as being any symbols. I mean, other than it's a sea chest. There might be some small etchings on it. But you know what? Sure, we'll go with that. So we're looking very, very closely, like kind of along the edge around the lip. You do see more of these very tiny little runes and like aquatic type symbols and little symbols of ships and things.
Okay. So I pull out the remaining rope because I cut off the other one.
Yeah.
And I say, Maybell.
All right. And the chest is open.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's see if anything happens. All right. There is a swirling in the chest.
Oh my gosh. Son of a...
And moments later, a glowing green shimmering field of energy fills the chest, the bottom of the chest. You can just see through it. You can hear way too close, the sound of waves crashing on the shore. And somewhere in the distance, like some odd birds squawking,
Okay.
unfamiliar to you.
I guess I throw the rope down into that.
Secured at one end, no doubt.
Yes.
Do you just like secure it at the same on the lid of the chest again, or just?
Well, I
somewhere?
thought it was already secured on the lid of the chest.
Well, it was, but I didn't know. I thought you had removed it all and then cut it in half. But sure, yeah. So you basically have. I'm just picturing. It's effectively a knotted rope.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
That falls down. You can see it dangling. What looks like down above a sandy beach.
Okay. Well, make sure got all my gear. And I'm like, all right, Squee, you ready for this?
Wow, magic.
It's something. Are you ready?
You want me to go too?
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready.
All right.
He grabs a little pack and
Let's go. And I shimmy down the rope.
all right. You climb down the knotted rope, and as you pass through the shimmery green field, you find yourself suspended from midair. Because as you kind of pass through, you can see the field, but then, the chest and the room beyond then becomes very obscured. Looking around, hanging from this rope, you realize you are about 20 feet up in the air, like suspended. And looking in one direction is the open ocean. Beautiful, serene, waves kind of crashing. There's a kind of a rough beach there. And then in the other direction is a dense little jungle. You can see there's a small, maybe game trail very close by. And there are also some catamarans. Let me flip the map here.
Okay. While you're doing that, I will pull out the rope from my climbing kit and attach it to the bottom of the magic rope. To extend it further.
All right. You should be able to see the map now as you climb down to the sandy beach. Now, like I said, there's two, I don't know if catamaran, they're like two pretty large outrigger canoes. I think that's what they're called.
Okay. Yes. I see them.
All right. And then they're pulled up on the beach about 50 feet away. Looking around, you can see that there are like numerous fresh footprints on the beach.
Shod or unshod?
Bare feet, human bare feet.
Okay.
And and there's a little trail winding the way into this strange jungle. Looking at the sky, it is a beautiful day. The sky is clear, and the sky looks a little different. But I would want to make you make a check if you wanted to do that.
Yeah. What kind of check?
That would be nature. I would probably just call it. You could use the sky if you had that, or if you had.
Yeah, this is going to be at a disadvantage. So sure, let me try.
Okay, because you don't have nature.
Nope. Oh, that's a 1.
Okay.
Sky looks different here.
It doesn't really take a lot of special knowledge to recognize that the sun is a different place in the sky. That is something you can readily see.
Okay.
But that doesn't really tell you anything about where you might be.
Okay.
You are elsewhere, and I'm sure you have an idea of where.
I mean, Jeannie makes an assumption that I am at the Summer Isles on the
Moon Isle Atoll. Oh my gosh. I said atoll the whole time, and then you made fun of me afterwards.
Sorry.
Yep. Atoll.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Moon Isle. Yep.
What do you want to do? Squee finishes climbing down and looks around. Wow, where are we at? We're a long ways from home, aren't we?
Yes, Squee. I believe we are. I think this is Moon Isle.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, let's go check out these boats, outriggers thingies.
All right. Squee will follow you over to take a look at the outriggers. What, are you looking for something in particular?
Nope.
Okay. Well, they are, like I said, they're pretty large. They're good, I don't know, 35, 40 feet long. And you can see, there's like bags of supplies and things in them, numerous long canoes. They look to be in impeccable condition, and obviously very recently used. Each of them has a large mainsail, which is currently furled, and you can see that they've run a line out each of them to a nearby tree and have tied it off, so they won't get pulled back into the surf.
How many people does it look like it would take to operate them?
I mean, they're probably pretty heavy. So, half a dozen could probably, or more, could probably easily fit in them.
Okay. But how many people would it take to manage it?
That's a great question. A couple, maybe. I don't think one person would be able to row it.
Okay.
I mean, they're pretty big. It's...
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it would take at least 2 strong people to drag that back out into the surf. But I would think that something like that size, you would probably want to at least have 4 people. Counting the canoes, you think each one probably had 6 or 8 people in them. I said counting the oars.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I'm not going to mess with them. I'm going to go ahead and just follow the obvious path into the woods.
Okay. Then you do so and make your way into the woods to see what lies ahead for you. All right. In the distance, as you begin making your way through the woods, you hear the sounds of beating drums. Fortunately, I have a nighttime map for the other side, but it's fine. We're all fine here. I'm not going to have you just immediately approach. But as you make your way through the jungle, you get a sense this is actually not very far across. Being an atoll, it's like a ring, and you think that side to side to get from the inside to the out is probably only maybe like half a mile.
Okay.
So making your way through the jungle, you do hear the sounds of jungle animals and scurrying in the brush and interesting birds, and you spot a couple snakes that are worrisome to you, but nothing accosts you, assuming that you kind of stick to the trail.
Okay.
It is pretty dense, and I mean, somebody has been maintaining this trail. You can pick that much out. And as you get closer to the inner side of the ring, you do hear the drums, like somebody has started some sort of ceremony.
So I hear drums. Do I hear voices?
You do as you get closer, yeah.
And do I recognize the language?
Sure. Yeah, it actually just sounds like, well, yeah, it just sounds like the normal human tongue. Galtian.
Galtian,
Yeah.
that's it.
Sorry.
Okay. Just Galtian.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, that'll make things easier. Cool. All right.
All right, so you kind of get to the edge of the trees, and you see that there is a beach on the other side, and you do spot a kind of a large, I'll call it a hut. It's a combination of hut. It looks more like a cabin, but it's got thatched roofs, and it is clearly made out of wreckage from a ship, like just the planks and pieces have been assembled. So, but it's pretty big. You kind of spot that at the edge of the tree line, and you look out past that, and you see there's a dozen people that have been assembled on the beach, and then there's another guy kind of getting a little closer to the hut, sitting on a little mat on the sand with a big drum that he's kind of pounding. And they're all human, a variety of skin tones and complexions. But what you do note is that they are dressed like they've been in the wilds like for a long time. So they're not wearing, I'm not going to say they're wearing civilized dress. I mean, they've taken clothing, and most of them aren't wearing shirts, and or some of them might have like a kind of a rough tabard or something like that. And
oh my gosh. So this is the crew of the ship that he crashed.
It could be. So you can see based on their dress that, yeah, they've embraced the wild. They look their clothes look a bit ragged, but also like there's definitely a style to it.
Okay. So they've kind of like created their own culture as they've been out here on their own for like however many years it's been.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it seems like there's some remnants of, what might have been considered standard clothing from.
Right. Yeah. They have piecemeal things together.
Okay.
So even though I've kind of put you on the map, you're probably, we'll say 40 feet back, kind of, I don't know if you're assuming you're going to hide a little bit.
I am going to hide. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of lurking in the brush, trying to assess it. So you can see the back of this brawny, dark-skinned man, the clean-shaven head. He's the one beating on the drums. And it looks like they're maybe having some sort of celebration. Some of them start kind of doing some dancing on the beach. And
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to observe for a little while and see if I can figure out what they're celebrating.
Okay. Give me a perception.
Oh yeah. Oops. Mm-hmm.
So just a general perception wouldn't be at a bonus edge. I know you prefer that.
I do prefer that. 18.
All right. While you're sitting there observing them, it does seem that there's four that have they start moving down closer to the water, and you notice that they look. You think they tend to be a little bit younger than the other ones.
Okay.
They all look like they might be in their early 20s, and it seems like of the group, they have more pieces of regular clothing on. Like their clothes look to be a little newer.
Their clothes look to be a little newer.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So as this little celebration goes on, those four go down and pick up some spears that had been laying down by the surf, and they start doing some practice with each other, where they're like doing like not actually trying to hurt each other, but like practicing with their spears and sparring with each other, while the others continue to frolic and dance, and some of them get some drinks, and there's actually like a keg out there, and it seems like this might go on for some time. But clearly this is a ceremony.
Oh, it seems really rude to interrupt their ceremony, though. Like, what's the etiquette in this situation? I don't know. Can I sneak over and check out their building?
Sure.
I'm going to do that. Let them have their little celebration a little while longer before I intrude.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me a stealth check on that.
12.
All right.
That was a terrible roll.
All right. Well, there's a lot of noise, and you're behind them, and you've got cover, so you're fine. But so you creep through the brush, circling around behind this hut, and yeah, there's like a kind of a very rough looking porch, just with like planks and nailed down, and it's got native vines growing around on it, but you can climb up onto it, and if you want to go inside, you can.
I mean, there's not just a way to look inside.
Yeah. I mean, there's an open window there.
I just want
Yeah.
to look in the open window. I want to see if there's anybody inside.
There's nobody inside. It is a kind of a hodgepodge. It looks like a single person dwelling because you see a bed there that is you're not sure where that came from. Maybe that actually came off of a ship.
Hmm.
It might have been the captain's bed. Who knows? But yeah, there's all sorts of supplies and it definitely has that basically finding stuff from wreckage and reassembling it, and I mean it looks cozy
Okay.
and definitely well supplied.
Okay.
You don't really see anything of particular value. I mean, there's some fishing gear and some hunting things and fresh fruits that are in a little basket, and some things are being left to dry.
No, I mean, I was mostly just wanting to know if there's any people inside there, any surprises that might,
Okay.
So no, I don't need to go inside. That's fine. Okay. Is there, in looking at the ceremony scene, is there a direction that it seems like I could approach from that would seem less menacing? If I'm looking at this, like if I come in from a side rather than from behind, or if I come in around if I come along the inside shoreline.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to circle around and try and come in so that it doesn't seem like I'm coming in from behind them.
Okay. Yeah. You can circle all the way around and look like you're just kind of walking up the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, I would like to do that.
That way they would see you at a little bit of distance.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then you do that. Just takes you a little bit to circle around, and as you kind of reveal yourself walking down the beach in a non-aggressive fashion, some of the people practicing with the spears, one of them spots you and then kind of points and then shouts out, and then the guy that's drumming stops drumming, and the people with the spears, they're brandishing them, but they're not like just pointing them at you. All right, and then the drummer guy will walk up to the front as you get closer. Oh,
you moved the drum.
I did.
That's
the
funny.
drum. The drum comes to meet you.
The drum comes to meet me. Hello, drum.
All right. So he will wait for you to get a little closer. You see him looking at you and also looking beyond and squinting and putting his hand above his eyes and kind of scanning the water, looking around, trying to probably figure out where you came from.
Okay, there.
And Squee will tag along behind in his coat.
Yes.
Sure, it's hot.
Shh, sorry.
All right, so all the party goers, they've all kind of stopped. Everybody's curiously looking. Nobody seems to be especially nervous, but very...
Well, they outnumber me, so I don't know why they would be nervous.
Yeah.
I am nervous.
Perplexed. So the tall, dark-skinned, bald guy will... Who are you?
Hi, I'm Jeannie. Nice to meet you, and you are?
I am Kalen. Where did you come from?
Well,
I see no ship.
Yep, I didn't come on a ship, and it's a bit of a story. I'm assuming you came here on a ship, maybe something called the Grind Shaft?
Some of us did. You hear some little murmuring, and some of them look around. Various different expressions, but few people know that. He will kind of step forward, looking. You see him put his hand up at the others, and he'll approach you. You say you didn't come on a ship. Did you arrive on the South Beach?
I don't know. I'm not like the best with like actual directions, although in a city I don't get lost.
Were there some outriggers nearby?
Yes.
Ah. I see. So he'll turn to the others and I'm going to have a quick conversation with our guest. Carry on with the festivities, and I suppose you are somehow associated with Nbod then.
Well, I'm kind of looking into his disappearance because he's disappeared.
He has indeed, and I very much know where.
Oh,
This is an odd timing for sure. There's actually going to be an all-day welcoming celebration followed by the ritual of the sea tonight. You can come over to my cottage and we'll have a sit.
sure thing. This is my associate, Squee.
Hello. He will kind of pause and squint down and try to see under Squee's cloak and say, interesting company you keep.
I'll say Nbod's former ship goblin.
Oh, on his last ship.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I will try to figure out how to explain this. So everybody will look very curious and want to ask you questions, but they seem to he seems to be the figure of authority around here, so he will lead you back to the cottage.
Cool. I get to go to the cottage.
Yes, so he'll take you inside. There's a couple small stools there, actually a little crate, so you just find a place to sit down. It's really not designed for company.
Okay, I sit.
Can I offer you anything to drink?
No, not right now. We actually just had breakfast not long ago.
I didn't know if anybody else would ever come through on the beach. My understanding was that wasn't really working much anymore.
I just got lucky.
And why, pray tell, are you trying to find our dear captain?
I guess you could say I'm just a very curious dwarf. And Squee here. I guess I took a liking to him.
Well, yes, let me tell you what I can. I served with the captain on the grindstaff, since you seem to know a little bit about that ship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that this is where it wrecked?
Yes, I do. And I know there's a kraken.
There is a kraken. In fact, that is part of the ceremony today, to see if it will present itself to challenge our newest additions to the tribe.
Are these other survivors of a different wreck?
They are. We have a growing family in this tribe.
So you're happy staying here?
Oh, yes.
Oh, because you could all come back to the city if you wanted.
No. Some of those here were the ones that stayed behind when the original crew of the grindstaff were rescued. We were stranded for 3 years, and by the end of that 3 years, many were very ready to go. Some were more bitter than others, but some had taken to this life. And as time passed, we discovered on the various islands that there were other like-minded individuals. So there's a small collection of, we'll say, refugee tribes with their own particular lifestyles and rituals and things to pass the time. It's peaceful here. Nevertheless, you want to know about Nbod. He came here. He would visit once he made his magical portals. He would come to see me. I was his quartermaster on the grindstaff.
Oh, I see.
He always had hopes of somehow recovering some of the riches that was in the hold.
That is also what I have heard.
He did manage to secure some. He was putting it into a sea cave across the atoll. But he was here. He'd come oh, 6 months ago, perhaps. Said that his gate was no longer functioning right to get into his secret sea cave, and asked me to row him across to see if he could go there directly. But unfortunately, as we approached the cave, something upset the boat. Something from below, and it was not the Kraken. But it was after him and pulled him under.
Oh, my.
I managed to get the canoe upright and got myself back in and circled and shouted for hours. But I never found him. I presume that whatever got him, he was drowned.
Do you know what his magic portal was to the sea cave?
What it was?
Yes. Like, what was the mechanism? Like, do you know, like, the mechanism for getting to this beach is a chest.
Oh, I never saw those. I understood he had a few. The only one that I knew was Maybell. And he said if I ever really needed to reach him, I could call out and the rope would fall. And so I made a few marks on where that was located, but I had no need to ever go there. And I thought about possibly going through and telling someone, but I didn't know who.
Oh, I'm wondering if the portal to the sea cave is a bathtub.
I do not know.
Because if it is, then do you remember Zune? Zune Quag?
Of course.
It's quite possible that he's in the sea cave right now.
His eyes will narrow. Indeed. He was none too popular with the crew.
Yeah. He was coming after the dagger that Captain Nbod found to kill the Kraken.
He had spoken of this dagger. I told him it was a fool's quest. Battling with the Kraken, really, it just wasn't worth it.
Well, he found the dagger, and Zune came after it, and I with Squee's help, we bested Zune, and we tied him up in the bathtub, not knowing that it was some kind of portal, and he got sucked down into this portal, and I'm guessing that he's in the sea cave right now.
Well, if that's the case, then anything Nbod has stowed away there would be at his disposal, but he'd have no way to get out of there unless this portal would open up again.
And which is possible. Or unless he decides to try and, is there not a landway around?
There is not. The small islands that make up this atoll are not interconnected. Oh, that is, I don't think we can let that stand. I think we're going to have to go see if he is in fact alive.
I mean, he was tied up.
He's a crafty devil.
I did not particularly care for him myself.
Well, I can tell the crew. I think that there are definitely those who have ill memories of him and would not be opposed to making sure that he was no longer with the land of the living.
I mean, just to be clear, this is all just a giant guess on my part.
All right, well, let's go speak with them.
Oh, and also to be clear, I have the dagger on me right now.
His eyes will go wide in surprise. That bastard found it.
I just told you he found it. Did you not listen to my side of the story?
Sorry, I was distracted. Wait, so he got it, and now you have it.
Yeah, and then I found where he hid it. Before Zune did, because Zune was looking for it.
Well, keep that information close for now.
Oh, because I don't particularly want it. Because Zune wants to return it to the Temple of Asp. Do you know anything about that?
I mean, I know some. those who sail the seas tend to gravitate to various traditions or beliefs. If you travel long and far enough, you'll find that you can't count the number of gods of the sea on both your hands. But I do understand that there are some of these gods, if you will, that are at odds with each other. And none of us were particularly religious in our crew, but you hear things, sure. I don't know any of the specific beliefs or tenets or whatever of this asp. But if it appealed to Zune, I'm sure I want nothing to do with it.
It didn't sound very nice.
So, if they're after the dagger, we definitely don't want them to have it back.
Okay.
But where did you say it came from? Another temple? Or did you say that?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Zune wants to return it to the Temple of the Asp. Yes. Captain Nbod stole it from a temple who Zune said stole it from the Temple of Asp.
Huh.
It seems very complicated. I don't know. I found it in a desk.
Well, we'll have to think about what to do with it. Something like that could be very dangerous and draw unwanted attention.
See? Oh, okay. I guess I'll just keep it to myself for now.
All right. None of the others know about these portals. Explaining your presence here is challenging. I think we'll just have to say, well, perhaps just that you came here via magical means and see if we can leave it at that.
Okay, works for me.
All right, then he will take you back out to the tribe here. It's not imagining it going like this.
I often wonder what you think's going to happen. Like, what do you picture? I feel like I should make you record what you think's going to happen beforehand. And then we play out what happens, and then I can listen to what, your guess is.
Well, I mean, it's especially when I'm running a published adventure, that's presumably somewhat play tested. There's certain beats that it goes along, and I thought you would be coming here at night, and then there's a whole ceremony. But you came here bright and early in the morning, and that just doesn't really make sense. So,
why can't a ceremony happen in the day? Does it have to be a nighttime ceremony? Just change the time of the ceremony.
I could. It's fine. We're all fine here. Okay. So you come in, you get to meet all the different members of the crew. Yeah, and you learn that 4 of them are newest members, and they've only been stranded about a month, and have decided that they would like to stay. And so to join the tribe, you learn about this little ritual where they celebrate on the beach and try to summon the Kraken. Well, if it appears it's a bad omen, usually they will try to fend it off. But if it doesn't, then it's a good omen. That's the simple element of their not too complex rituals. But it's also a reason for them to party on the beach all day and then end with this ceremony.
Okay, so they try to summon the Kraken, but don't want the Kraken to come.
That's true. But
Really?
Sometimes it does.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so he introduces you. You catch a variety of their names, but he will explain to them that, yes, this young lady, Jeannie, has come here via magical means. And did you say you were hired, or you didn't say why you were trying to find out about Nbod?
Well, I didn't.
Okay.
I said I'm just a curious dwarf, and Squee is very loyal to Nbod, and it just seemed like the right thing to do.
So she's come to find out what happened to our former captain. As I've told many of you, he did pay us a visit. And what I have not told you before is that something in the water took him and that he's lost. But now I've learned that our former first mate, Zune, which you immediately hear angry grumbles, is alive, or possibly alive and all too well, and has managed to also travel via magic to a sea cave across the atoll. And it is now up to us to see that he doesn't get any of the ill-gotten gains left behind. And if he's alive, we need to go take care of that problem.
I pump my fist in the air.
Yeah, it creates quite the stir, and they begin kind of talking over a plan. You realize through the course of this that not all of them knew all of the details about the captain and his secrets to try to recover all the treasure. Most of them had just abandoned that idea entirely, but he reveals that yes, Nbod had managed to acquire some of it and stowed it in a sea cave. So we need to go to that cave now and see perhaps what happened to Nbod, and now what happened to Zune Quag.
Okay.
One canoe will not be enough, so let's get the outriggers.
Okay. I'm not a sailor.
All right. So they are going to spend a little time to bring one of the outriggers around, and at least half of them are going to go with you and Kaylin and Squee to cross the atoll and see what you can see.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, that sounds great.
All right. Then we will pick up the rest of this adventure and possibly get to the conclusion. We'll see. We're so close. I can taste it.
Okay.
The conclusion of Nbod's room next time.
Okay.
All
Yay.
right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed our show and want more, please leave us a rating and review on whichever platform you use. And of course, feel free to share us on social media. We'll be back next week with more adventures in the World of Tellus. To tide you over, you can read more about the cast, characters, and the World of Tellus at AdventuresEdgeRPG.com.